Hey everyone, and welcome back to this class, Advanced Convolutional Neural Networks. In this lecture, we're going to move on to the next exercise, which is building the first few layers of ResNet. So far, we've built the conv block and the identity block, which are two essential pieces of ResNet. Once we have these, it's just a matter of patching them together to make the full ResNet. But as a sanity test, what we would like to do is just build the first few layers and confirm that we get the same output as the Keras version of ResNet. This is a much harder exercise than the previous exercises because before, we only needed to make sure the shape was right. Now we have to make sure we actually end up with the right values. So the starter file I made for you is tfresnet firstlayers.starter.py. Again, I've left a lot of it empty on purpose, so you are free to make your own design choices. Just make sure you don't change anything in the main section, because that specifies the standard interface that the model needs to have. One major note is that ResNet will have a different number of layers depending on which version of Keras you're using, so you'll need to upgrade to at least version 2 for your code to be consistent with mine. And just to recap, what we want to do is build everything up to and including the first conv block. So we have, starting from the input, a conv layer, a batch norm layer, a rel-u, a max pool, and then the first conv block. We go up to there, check that our output is the same as Keras, and then exit. So your job is to fill in the class partial ResNet. One of the hardest parts is going to be copying the weights over from Keras. Note that in order to get the parameters of a Keras layer, you just call the getWeights function. It usually returns the weight matrix and a bias vector, if that layer has them. Otherwise, it returns an empty list. This may be particularly tricky with batch norm because all 4 parameters have the same shape. So you'll need to figure out which one is which. Good luck.